Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our F124 Driver Career Mode with Enzo Fittipaldi. Last week we were at Japan. We did manage a double points finish for Alpine. This week we're at China, finishing off the Asian part of the calendar. Go ahead and get into a quick little recap of the standings. Alpine are fourth in the constructors, still ahead of Aston Martin and Mercedes because of George Russell's struggles to start the year and Lance Stroll's struggles as well. We are tied at 16 points with Pierre Gasly for 8th place. Honestly, neck and neck. Hopefully we can slightly edge our teammate this weekend. As far as the results, Max Verstappen did get second last week. He only has one win so far. Oscar Piastri got his maiden victory 1 week after Lando Norris got his. So hopefully we can have a few more different winners. As for the R&D, we do have one more upgrade coming on before China. It's just a reliability upgrade, though. We are going to add the beam wing upgrade for only 267. We do have 270 left that I think we're just going to save for now. Not much we can do with it. Little short on the secondary wing flaps. So we're just going to save it and add on to our resource points with practice here in China. Quick little weather update here. It looks like it will be mixed conditions for the sprint and for qualifying before the Grand Prix. It's going to be dry during sprint qualifying and during the race, which is good news. But it will keep it interesting during the sprint and qualifying. So hopefully we can keep it on the track in the wet conditions. Now we're going to go ahead and get on into the only practice session for the weekend. So we are going to have to maximize our practice programs. Hopefully get as many purple scores and as much resource points as we can.
Ni hao and welcome to China. We've missed you, but it's great to be back here at the Shanghai International Circuit, and practice is on its way next.
Here we are for our tire management practice program. Gotta stay below the delta while also keeping the tires in a decent window here. Here we are coming down the final back straight. 8 tenths up on the delta and in the purple range. We really managed to keep the tires in a good window here. Just want to bring it home, honestly. Not do anything too crazy. Overshot that corner slightly. It cost me a little, but nothing too crazy. It did take me 3 laps to go ahead and get a purple score, but we will take it nonetheless. We need every resource point we can get to catch the front runners. Here we are for our race strategy practice programs. We're on the hard tires we just use for our tire management programs, so they do have a few laps on them. Don't have that many sets for practice here during the sprint weekend, so gotta make use of what we got. Like usual, we're not going to use any overtake or DRS on this lap. Get the most accurate reading we can for our race strategy. 10th and a half up on the delta so far. Overshot that corner slightly. Cost us quite a bit of time. Gaining it back on the exit though. Gained a ton right there. Up massively on the delta currently. 3 tenths up on the delta. It's climbing. Be brave into this corner here. Down to 3rd gear. Here's where you gotta be careful not to, do exactly that. Very easy to unsettle the car in this corner. And that's a purple score. We are gonna do the last 2 laps just to go ahead and get as much data as we can for our race engineer and race strategist. We also have a Ferrari breathing down our neck as well. We are having a pretty realistic race strategy practice program. Oh! And we get a big snap of oversteer. Too much power down on the exit, and it's going to end our race strategy practice program. Alright, here we have the data from our laps. The tire wear was pretty much as expected. Honestly, a little worse come lap 4. But the pace was well below expected, so that's good. We aren't super high on the leaderboard, but again, that's to be expected. We're about 2 seconds off, but we are not using any ERS or DRS, and those tires were very, very used. So this will be the true test of our pace and where we're going to stack up in our qualifying practice program. So let's get on into it and hopefully put down a decent lap. Alright, here we are coming to the final corner. About to start our our qualifying practice program. Turn on the hot lap mode. Open the DRS. Now let's try to put down a really quick lap here. Looks like we will not be completing this qualifying practice program unless we do something really big here in the final sector. Oh, and we bin it. Yep, that completes our qualifying practice program. Oscar Piastri topped the charts right after his win. He is top of the charts again, so maybe he can carry that momentum and get back-to-back wins. We'll have to see. We finished P20 in practice, but we didn't actually get our qualifying run completed. So there definitely was pace to be found in the car. We didn't use any overtake or DRS in our laps that we did put a lap time down for. So I do think we'll have a decent car in qualifying. We just have to get a lap hooked up like we didn't manage to do in practice. So let's get on into qualifying and hopefully get ourselves a decent grid position. Before we get on into sprint qualifying, we do have 519 resource points we can go ahead and apply. So let's see what we can do with that. I'm going to go ahead and apply these tire blankets. They will be on right after the Miami and before Imola. So that'll be huge. Help us with our tire wear for Imola. Now we're going to get on into sprint qualifying and hopefully put ourselves somewhere near the front.
Now here's something we haven't said for a little while. Welcome along to qualifying in China. After a few years' absence from the calendar, it is great to be back here. But just who is going to put their car on pole?
Here we are for our first lap during sprint qualifying. We do need to get a pretty good lap on the board here as we won't get a second set of tires. So gotta have full commitment on this first lap. Free the car up as much as I can. Open the DRS flap here down the long straightaway. Lap's been okay so far. Gotta make sure we don't oversend this corner here. Reduce slightly. And we get a snap oversteer on the exit. That's going to cost us some time. See where we stack up. A 133.975. Faster than Gasly, but slower than Sonoda. We're definitely going to have to pick up for sure. Here we are, second and final lap for SQ1. Need to make sure we get into the top 15 here. We are 14th currently, but we're most likely going to have to pick up, as we have a pretty terrible turn one there. Go way too wide. Our exit is terrible. Oh, we're 4 tenths down here to start our lap. We're going to go ahead and finish it, because why not? Maybe we can gain that time back in other sectors of the track. I think we might have just barely snuck through. Oh, and we spin.
We dropped to P15.
So, we gotta hope it's enough. I think it is, though. Pierre Gasly, P11th. And we did just manage to sneak in. Our first lap was good enough. Let's go. So, we are in SQ2 in China. That's what we like to see. I don't know if we're gonna have the pace to make the top 10, but we're gonna give it our all. Here we are, coming to our first lap of SQ2. We got Carlos Sainz directly behind us right now. This track is a joy to drive, honestly. So, oh, as we invalidate. Oh, no. Might as well just let Carlos Sainz by at this point. Alright, here we are for our final lap of SQ2. Gasly's 14th and I'm 15th, so both Alpines struggling here in China. Hopefully I can turn our struggles around here and put down a decent lap. No! And we run a little wide and invalidate. We could have improved slightly, but we'll take it. P15 in the sprint. Hopefully we can make up some positions and yeah, learn some info for the race on Sunday.
Well, the weather is not looking good today. We're expecting the downpours to continue into today's sprint, and this will make for some very tricky conditions for all the teams. The ever-tightening turns of 1 and 2 will prove tricky in the slippery conditions here in Shanghai, and anyone that slides wide will lose a lot of time getting back on track. Turn 14 should still be the best place for overtaking, but we'll have to see some improvement in the weather before the drivers can take advantage of that DRS assistance. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Sainz, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Stroll, Ricciardo, Albon, Tsunoda, Gasly, Fittipaldi, Bottas, Joe, Hülkenberg, Magnussen and Logan Sargent. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And alongside me in the commentary box today, a man who I always look up to, which is easier said than done, Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
OK, so we didn't have the performance in qualifying this weekend, but considering last race, we might still be able to get a points finish.
Well, here we are for a mixed conditions sprint race. Hopefully, we can keep it on the track, and they are suggesting mediums, and that the track is gonna dry up, not intermediates. So we're gonna go ahead and trust our race engineer and take this set of mediums, and hope the track is dry enough. Everyone else is on dries as well, so that's a comforting sight. Here we are for those 5 red lights of the sprint in Shanghai, China, and it's lights out and away we go in the pouring down rain. Little bit of rear tire spin there, but we get the power down right along the outside of our teammate here. Look to make the move stick as we go in the corner, and then we'll go around Albon, Tsunoda, maybe go under Ricciardo. I'm not going to go under Hamilton, though. We are 3 wide currently. We got to make sure to try to leave the guys on the outside enough room as we get a ton of rear wheel spin there. Who's on our outside? It's Daniel Ricciardo. They all break real early into this corner here. Nowhere for us to go on the outside of Piastri, though. As Ricciardo's also still on our inside as well. Now our outside. We do get by the V-carb Ricciardo. Now the thing is I don't know how much we're going to have for these guys ahead of us. Try to hang with them, but... we're going to look to go 3 wide here. Down to the inside of the McLaren and the Mercedes, and we make it stick. And we complete the move. Up to P8. Carlos Sainz is pulling away out in the distance. We're going to drain our battery out here down the back straightaway. Try to stay ahead of the McLaren and Piastri. We are in contention for a point here. Wow. The straight line speed of that McLaren is just something insane. We're going to brake late into the corner. We do have to give him the room on the inside line there. Oh yeah, that McLaren is just way better. No possible way to hold him back. Try to stay with him maybe, but we'll see.
You're in the top 10 now. Keep it up.
We need this rain to stop so we can get a little bit of grip on the mediums. He hasn't drove away by a country mile, and neither have the Ferrari, so... That's a very good sign. Oh, as we get a gigantic snap of oversteer down into the long straightaway as Lewis Hamilton will now get a run down and look to make a pass on us. He does have DRS, so not much we can do. He's going to go defensive on the inside. We're going to look to his outside here as we break real late. He is able to hold us off and complete the move. Lewis Hamilton has broke our DRS. We're really struggling to keep with the Mercedes. Tsunoda's probably Ricardo. I'm sorry, it's probably going to blow by us here with the DRS. Oh, and he goes defensive too. Not much we can do into that corner. The track is semi-drying up here, but it is still sprinkling. It is still very wet as we close in majorly on Ricardo there in turn 1. A lot more grip than there previously was. Track is definitely starting to dry up. We're 7/10 up on our best lap. Track is still probably a little damp and definitely green with not much rubber on it after the rain. Oh, but it feels so much better. Can actually get on the throttle. I don't think I got the DRS, which is for sure going to cost me. That will allow Tsunoda to probably blow right by me. Nothing we can do to hold Tsunoda off. Stroll's going to look to go by us too. So Tsunoda's going to go defensive on Stroll. They're going to go 2 wide. We're going to take it 3 wide. And it all gets sorted out with us in 13th. Final lap here. Going to look to try to pass Stroll and Tsunoda. Try to get back up to P11. Will we have enough battery to run them down? That's the question. They're both harvesting. We're going to break super late into this corner. Tsunoda got by Stroll. Can we make a move on a Stroll here before the final corner? I don't think we're going to be able to. It looks like we're going to bring it home P13 in the sprint as Sergio Perez gets the sprint win here in China. Well, there you have it. It's Perez, Russell, and Leclerc on the podium for the sprint race here in China. Russell gets his first points of the season all the way in the 5th race. Definitely not what he expected to start the year, but I'm sure he's thrilled to finally be on the board with some points and get a 2nd place here in the sprint. So hopefully he can carry that momentum into the next race and maybe turn around his misfortunes. As for us, we managed P13 ahead of our teammate who got P15. Renault definitely looks to be struggling this week here in China, but hopefully we can turn around our misfortunes and score some points in the main race.
Now here's something we haven't said for a little while. Welcome along to qualifying in China. After a few years' absence from the calendar, it is great to be back here. But just who is going to put their car on pole?
Here we are for our first lap of Q1. It was raining earlier in the session, so we went ahead and waited until the end. I tried to time it where I would have enough time to get 2 laps in, but we're just short, so I am going to have to make this only 1 lap count here. We'll only get 1 shot at it. Oh, and we get a giant snap oversteer because we get too much curb on the exit. Cost us a little bit down the pitch straight. Just gotta stay committed. I'm so used to driving the track on slicks when it's wet. I'm a little bit hesitant. I wonder what it's gonna be. Now that felt pretty decent. Not the best. I feel like it was a little bit reserved. Qualifying complete. Leclerc and Perez had stinkers for sure. As we for sure oversend the final corner. That's gonna cost us majorly. Will it be enough to get us into Q2 though? Through the final corner, what's it gonna be? P17. Not the qualifying we would have hoped for, but hopefully we can make up some positions in the race and try to get Alpine some points.
It's time again then for Formula One in Shanghai. Northwest of the thriving city of over 24 million people is a circuit that first featured in the championship calendar back in 2004. It played host to Formula One's 1000th Grand Prix back in 2019. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before we head into the braking zone of turn 14. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Fernando Alonso alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Norris, Hamilton, Russell, Stroll, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Albon, Joe, Sargent, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Fittipaldi, Magnussen, Leclerc, and Sergio Perez completes our grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
Well, you've got to be prepared, Crofty. Before you even step foot inside the car, you've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have to place your car if X, Y, or Z happens in front of you or behind you. So having this clear game plan is absolutely essential before you get in the car.
Back of the grid, not great, I know, but let's just try and use the first lap to push your way up the order.
Well, we are starting from the back, but I do feel pretty confident we can make our way towards the front of the field. As for the strategy, we are going to go with the medium tires to the hard tires. Nothing too crazy. Get a little bit of an undercut. We could pit on lap 10, but I think we're going to go 9 and try to pit a lap earlier than a couple people. Maybe get an undercut. There are 2 people who regularly score points, Leclerc and Perez, behind us. So 2 spots may be up for grabs in the points. Gasly starting P9, so hopefully he can continue on that and score some points for us. And then we need to get up there too, so we can make a run here at holding off Aston Martin and Mercedes in the constructors. All right, and here we are with those 5 red lights here in Shanghai, China. And it's lights out, no way we go for the Chinese Grand Prix. Oh, get a little bit of rear wheel spin there off the line. Magnussen got an amazing start. We're going to have to lift going into turn 1. We're going to look to drive around the outside here. We get an amazing run into turn 1. Oh, I'm going to look to go under Tsunoda. Nope, not quite able to get the run on Tsunoda. But we're up to P11. That's 6 spots gained in 3 corners. We'll take that for sure. Going to brake, real late here. Compared to the AI, we make slight contact there with Stroll. He's going to drive to our inside here. We're going to hang it around the outside, and Stroll backs out. Looks like Norris and Russell are banging wheels up there. Gonna look to capitalize on that. I'm gonna brake late into this corner here. Dive under Tsunoda. Oh, Tsunoda bangs wheels into me right there. Thought I gave him enough room, but I guess I could have given him a little bit more. Up to P9 though. We'll take that. Where is Gasly? I haven't seen him yet. Hopefully he's up ahead of us. He is not. So Gasly is not in the points, unfortunately. Oh, 3 wide. Norris, Hamilton, and Russell. Oh! As Daniel Ricciardo cuts off our nose right there. Almost gives us wing damage. Thank God. I don't know how we don't have any wing damage. We're just kind of following at the moment. Kind of chilling in P9. Gonna keep our battery in a good window here. And just try to stay in these guys' DRS range. Oh, as we dive, a late Daniel Ricciardo S dive bomb on Daniel Ricciardo. And we make it stick. Honestly, that was
Nice
semi-accidental.
move. Good job.
Oh, Lewis Hamilton blows his engine here. Not what Mercedes wants to see at all. That's going to help us massively in the constructors.
Okay, they're out of this race.
Now we need to try to get back into George Russell's DRS range here, though. Oh, massive snap oversteer from us. That is not going to help. We have no DRS here to defend against Tsunoda or Ricciardo as they go side by side here into the final corner. Both of them not on the racing line. It's going to hinder them massively. I see a piece of carbon fiber fly off one of the V-carbs there. One of them definitely lost some front wing. Not sure if it was Tsunoda or Ricciardo, though. Struggling to get back in the DRS of Daniel Ricciardo, but I think we've just managed to do so. We managed to close back in here on Ricciardo. Gasly just made his way back up to P10 too, and by Tsunoda. They're creating a big gap because of Tsunoda's wing damage, which is kind of nice for us. Hopefully it'll hold up Leclerc and Perez, make their life a little bit tougher. We are burning up that front left massively. As Lance Stroll is going to look to get around here, we are going to have to use some battery to try to hold him off. So we brake slightly early so we don't run into the back of Daniel Ricciardo. Starting lap 8 here. We've managed this first stint pretty well, honestly. I've been able to stay with Ricciardo. Gained 9 positions from 17th to 8th. Now it's going to come down to how well can we do on the hards in this second stint. Because the hards will definitely have a little bit less grip than the mediums did. And Stroll will be on the mediums, Gasly will be on the mediums. We'll have a few
we need to get past
people
here.
that will be on the softer rubber that we are going to have to deal with. Oh, said we got the target even though we didn't actually pass him. Oh, first warning of the race as well.
In this lap,
Gotta be careful with that.
push now.
Alright, here we are. Pitting this lap. This is a very unconventional pit entrance. Little safe there, but I think that wasn't too bad, honestly. Hopefully we get a good stop here, no issues.
Okay, go!
0.5,
That was a
not bad.
fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting. Okay, information
Max
on Verstappen's
Verstappen's out of the session.
From the race.
Your season, your championship leader is out of the session. That is gonna shake things up.
4.4
Got the slight
seconds.
undercut on Ricciardo. Leclerc is running us down. Gonna let Daniel go and just follow him. Fucking his DRS.
Gap to your teammate ahead, 16.0 seconds.
Stroll and Gasly are out. Gasly's up to P9. So 7th and 9th for Alpine to be another double points finish, and it'd honestly be huge. I'm thinking Gasly will definitely get passed by Leclerc. Maybe we have enough of a gap to hold off Charles, but Gasly might be looking at a P10 here, unless he can get by Lance as well.
Battery charge is high, let's use that overtake.
Stroll has already closed the gap to 1.2 seconds on those mediums. He is flying on those mediums compared to the hards. We make the dummy move. Go to the outside. And we make it stick. Let's go. And we're past Daniel Ricciardo for P6. You go get the DRS here to try to make another move on us. We're going to use whatever left of battery we got. Hang it around the outside. Oh, we're going to let Stroll go. That's Stroll. Stroll's already made it by Ricciardo. We're going to let Stroll go, try to stay in Stroll's DRS, and just charge our battery back up. As we're side by side with Ricardo right there, we make sure to give him enough room. Get a little bit of oversteer as we get on the power too soon. Hopefully, Gasly will also be able to make his way past Stroll here. I don't know if we're going to be able to hang with Stroll here. Stroll is rapid. We've already lost his DRS, which is not good. And I do not have the battery to get back into it. And Charles Leclerc is coming. Ricardo just blows right by us again. Charles Leclerc has now closed the gap to a 1 second, now under a second. He will get DRS on this long straightaway on Pierre. That is not what we needed. He is definitely going to close up on us here. Pierre will get the DRS off of us to defend, but... oh man, we're only at 13% battery too. They're going to make a massive run down the straight here on us. As Charles Leclerc dives to the inside here of Pierre Gasly, will he be able to make it stick? That's the question. And Pierre is able to hold him off in that corner. Pierre does have newer tires and they are mediums, so he will have a little bit to work with here. Plus, he is going to have the DRS for defense. Can he hold off the Ferrari in these last coming laps? Here's where Pierre's going to be under threat the most on this long straightaway with DRS. You know that Ferrari has great straight line speed, but it's looking like he is too far back. He's going to have the DRS to make the defense, and it's going to work. That's one more lap that Pierre is able to hold off the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc's a little closer this time around. Only 3/10 back. 4/10 back. He has the slipstream, has the DRS, but he still won't be close enough to make the move.
Just so you know, we're getting some strange readings from a couple of the sensors. I don't think you need to be worried, just some bad data. So keep doing what you're doing. I'll let you know if we notice any genuine problems.
Well, that is never good news. That is not what we want to hear. Hopefully, we can finish these last 3 laps out without any issues. Gasly does look like he's going to be able to hold off Leclerc one more time. Leclerc looks like he is too far back. Oh, he defends. Never mind. Leclerc goes to the outside here. Will he be able to make this move stick? That's the question. I low-key hold up Leclerc slightly there from my teammate. It was kind of accidental, but we'll take it. It was helpful. And Gasly is able to hold on one more time. I feel pretty confident with our battery in this type of window here, we'll be able to make our way past Danny Rick. We just got to line him up perfectly on the last lap down the long straight. We're going to use the DRS and ERS and just blow right by him. Looks like Leclerc is too far back here to make a move. About a 3/10 deficit. You never know with how fast that Ferrari is in a straight line, though.
Okay,
one more time around here at the Chinese Grand Prix. Tell you what, China is one fun track. This place is just a joy to drive. The high-speed sections mixed with the low-speed corners. It's just, yeah, so it's a good track, honestly. One of my favorite. That was really, really close to being our last warning and a 3-second penalty. Need to be careful not to get any warnings and just bring it home here. Drain our battery. It's one final time to get past Daniel Ricciardo. Can Charles Leclerc get past Pierre Gasly here? Hopefully not. We're going to use the rest of our battery down this long straightaway. Get the slipstream. Dive to the inside. Brake as late as possible. Carlos Sainz wins here in China. Oh, Daniel Ricciardo's held up on us. And we spin. No. Everything is coming undone here. As Daniel Ricciardo and me get tangled up on the last lap, and it costs us a bunch of points. Fall all the way back to P10.
Over. Take care of the car on the way in.
No. We do manage to still bring home driver of the day, though.
And Carlos Sainz sees the checkered flag and wins.
Well, another race victory today, and you can clearly see they're starting to believe in themselves more and more. You get to a stage, Crofty, where you become very hard to beat as a driver when you keep putting in performances like this one.
Here come our winners now, a thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Well, there you have it. An unfortunate end to our race, but Pierre Gasly did pick up the scraps and get P7. We fell all the way back to 10th, not what we would have wanted, but it was kind of our fault. We oversent it a little too much and got collected with Danny Rick. Thank God a 10th is the worst of what we got. We will take that. 1 point to leave the weekend. Not what we wanted. We had worked for so much more, and we had a really good result going, and we kind of messed it up there at the end. But we'll take a 10th. At least Pierre was able to pick up the scraps and get 7th. So we were gonna finish ahead of our teammate too, which would have been a stellar result. But we'll take it. Carlos Sainz, after Max Verstappen's DNF and his win, is now leading the Drivers' Championship with Lando Norris in second. Max Verstappen's now 21 points out. Definitely recoverable, but not what he would have wanted. As for the Constructors, Ferrari now has an 11-point hold over McLaren and 33 points over Red Bull. With Max Verstappen's relative struggles compared to what he's used to, and Sergio Perez just being non-existent, Red Bull is having one hell of a time trying to get their Constructors Championship here. So yeah, hopefully we can carry this momentum of a second double points finish in a row into next weekend and actually finish ahead of our teammate Pierre Gasly and not make any big mistakes like we did on that last corner. So thank you to anyone who watched the video. You guys please have a great day and like and subscribe.